Hey, there, it's me, Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access. Link in the comment, thanks. I was still speechless, wondering what I could say to this that would mean Anita would be mine. My mouth opened slightly, but no sounds came out, and I shuddered again. Oh, poor Steve. Anita said solicitously. You're still cold, aren't you? Let me get you a jumper to put on. She went over to the window where the bags full of clothes were. She emerged with a pale blue jumper that I recognized oh so well. She had worn it to school so often, and I had gazed longingly at it every time. It always clung so close to her that I could see her nipples through the sweater and her bra, and it looked so soft and inviting, begging me to stroke it, though I had never dared. Here you are, Steve, this should keep you a bit warmer, Anita said, holding out the jumper for me. Quivering, I managed to raise my arm and take the jumper. It felt as soft, if not softer, than I had imagined. I stared at Anita. Could I dare to put on this, probably the one item that summed up my desire for her? What's the matter, Steve? You looked scared. It's not that I'm scared, I mumbled. I just wondered. I hesitated. No, it's nothing, I'll put it on. It'll look good on you, Steve, Anita told me encouragingly. Taking the jumper, I gingerly lifted it over my head and slipped into it. Mind your hair, advised Anita. Don't get it too messy, will you? I'll do my best. I eased the jumper over my head and slipped my arms into it. It felt tight, but not uncomfortably so. The material felt seductively soft against me, and somehow made my arms look thinner. Well, pull it down then, over your boobs. I got hold of the bottom of the jumper and pulled it gently over my bra and then down to my waist. I gazed at myself in amazement. Now it really did look as if I had real boobs. Oh God, Steve, that looks fantastic, she said, pulling my hair out from the jumper and brushing me down. You look brilliant. That jumper looks better on you than it does on me. I doubt that, I mumbled, gazing forlornly at her face. Suddenly she looked into my eyes, and for a moment we stood frozen, her gently biting her bottom lip. Anita, I began. Don't say anything, she replied, smiling gently. I moved forward to kiss her, and then the doorbell rang. The sound of the doorbell echoed around the hallway as Anita stared into my eyes. That'll be Nikki, back with your shoes. I'd better let her in. With that, the magic of the moment passed, and Anita walked over to the door and out into the hall. I cursed my luck as she disappeared, and glared upwards at the heavens for being so unkind. Oh, hi. I heard her say, come on in. Sorry I was so long, I hope I haven't missed much. I heard Nikki say. Then Anita walked back into the room, smiling, followed by Nikki, and to my sudden horror someone else. It was Maxine, Nikki's elder sister. I had no time to hide. Oh my goodness, she exclaimed as she saw me. I grimaced. She was tall and elegant, dressed in smart jeans and a t-shirt. I knew her vaguely through Nikki, but being 2 years older than us, had never had a lot to do with her. I told you he looked good, Nikki said, with a triumphant grin on her face. Good isn't the word, declared Maxine, staring at me in wonder. I would never have guessed he was a boy, not in a million years. Do you like him? Asked Anita eagerly. Like him? I don't know about that, Maxine went on, he looks more like a her than a him for a start. Nikki and Anita both laughed at this observation. He doesn't just look like a girl, she went on, he looks like a really pretty one, that's what gets me. I know, giggled Anita. And he looks, I don't know, so delicate somehow, Maxine continued, appraising my appearance from the doorway, a bit vulnerable I suppose. Like all girls should, declared Nikki, still laughing. Well, last time I saw him he didn't have the jumper or the tights on. They definitely make a difference. Yes, agreed Anita. He's got gorgeous legs, Maxine observed, looking down at me. I'd kill for legs like that. Any girl would, agreed Anita. We've already told him it's a crime to keep legs like that locked away in trousers. Yes, agreed Maxine. He should wear a skirt all the time. I would if I had legs like that. Yes, Maxine agreed again. Did you bring around some shoes then? Anita asked Nikki. Yes, I've left the bag by the door. I've brought 3 pairs around. He'll need something a bit glamorous for the formal round as well as something practical for the school uniform. Oh good, declared Anita. Well, we might as well get on. Are you staying to help Max? No, she responded, to my relief. I've got to get off to work. Oh, that's a shame, Anita told her. Well, needs must. Still, I'm glad I popped in. It's not every day you see someone as beautiful as this. After a pause, she turned back into the hall. Okay, then, best of luck with finishing him off. I'll see you later. Yeah. See you, Max, Nikki said, and Maxine walked back through the door and out into the street. Nikki circled me, looking at the changes that had occurred since she had left. Those tights look fabulous on him, she declared eventually. Still, we knew his legs were good. Yes, agreed Anita, and if you look, they've more or less got rid of his bulge problem. Let's see, said Nikki, moving to my side. Oh yes, although the other pair of knickers helps as well. Yes, you wouldn't know he had anything untoward there now, would you? No, agreed Anita, beaming. I could feel myself blushing furiously. Now let's see, what's next? Oh, I know what he needs, a slip. Yes, of course, said Nikki, smiling. That's just the thing. I sorted him one out, hang on, I'll go and get it. Anita rushed purposefully across to the dreaded bags by the window. What's a slip? I asked, genuinely ignorant of what a slip might be. Don't you know, responded Nikki incredulously. No, I'm not an expert on girls' clothes. I said, defensively. It's just something you wear under your skirt, Nikki said, by way of explanation, although I was no clearer. This, said Anita from over by the window, is a slip. She held up a small white nylon skirt, with a scalloped hem interspaced with pink rosebuds. It's a petticoat. I exclaimed. Well, sort of, responded Anita, bringing the garment over to me. Here you go, put this on. You'll look sweet in it. Yeah, agreed Nikki. I'm not wearing a petticoat. I exclaimed. That's outrageous. But you have to, said Anita, with a pleading tone to her voice. What do you mean I have to? I demanded. I bet you never wear one. I do sometimes, Anita said, a little petulantly. I haven't got on one at the moment, admittedly, but I am wearing jeans after all. Yeah, me too, added Nikki. Anita held out the slip, but I refused to take it. This was going too far, trying to put me in a petticoat. Well, I'm not wearing that. It's far too feminine. They don't make butch petticoats, Nikki told me, defiantly. You'll have to put up with it. I stared at the offending piece of clothing in Anita's hands. I can't see what use wearing something like that could possibly be. You're just doing it to humiliate me even more. No, we're not, Steve, said Anita more gently. Petticoats and slips make your skirt hang better. That's right, agreed Nikki. You remember we were telling you about VPL earlier? I nodded sullenly. Well, wearing a slip puts an end to that. That's right, agreed Anita, enthusiastically. And I'm sure you don't want VPL, do you? I shrugged. It might be better than having to wear a petticoat. Oh, it wouldn't, believe me, responded Anita. And another thing, went on Nikki, it'll get rid of the last vestige of your bulge problem. You'll be able to wear a much tighter skirt than you would otherwise. Whoopee, I responded sarcastically. Nikki's right, Steve, Anita carried on, you'll look much better in your skirt with a slip underneath. No doubt about it. This was turning out just like the argument about whether I should wear girls' knickers or not. I had no logical argument to counter theirs. Still, something inside me rebelled at the thought of wearing a girl's petticoat. Well, I don't want to wear it, I stated bluntly. The two girls looked at me with concern on their faces. There was silence for some time, and then Anita admitted, well, we can't make you. No, Nikki agreed. I looked from one to the other. Could it be true that I had convinced them that I needn't wear the petticoat? You'll have to put up with your skirt riding up though, Nikki added eventually, looking thoughtfully at me. What do you mean? I asked. Well, she began, if you wear a skirt without a slip, especially an unlined one, it'll ride up. That's true, added Anita. It's a real sod. I waited for a moment, but nothing more by way of explanation was offered. What do you mean by riding up? Well, said Anita, your tights will sort of build up static electricity. Because they're nylon, added Nikki. And that makes the skirt ride up, you know, up your legs. Yeah, agreed Nikki. Which is fine, if you don't mind people seeing your knickers every 5 minutes. True, agreed Anita. I can see you'd be very proud of how good you look in them, but it's not very ladylike to keep flashing them about. No, agreed Nikki, giggling. I thought about this for a bit. So you're saying that unless I wear a petticoat? A slip, corrected Anita. All right, a slip. Unless I wear a slip, my knickers are going to show? That's about the size of it, agreed Nikki. You can keep pulling your skirt down all the time instead, suggested Anita, but it's a bit of a fuss. Yeah, especially if you forget, added Nikki. Please subscribe for the next part. And visit my Patreon page for early access.